So earlier we were having a discussion, and of course, I said some things, and like I said, I still know what I say. And of course, the title of this video says Tasha K running for governor, and of course, it's not really what this is going to be about, but it's going to be the starter. It's going to be the seed of tonight's discussion. Now, of course, I'm winding down, and I was not expected to do this video. I was not expecting to do this video. But because I feel like this person speaks to a certain genre of people, a certain demographic of people, I feel like we share that demographic. And so I'm like, I don't think my people would fall for this stuff. But this is an example, y'all, and I made my video earlier before this video was even posted. And so I'm going to play some sound of a discussion that is taking place on Tasha K's Live. And of course, I'm going to educate you guys on the plot and the ploy of how we're just going to say it. Men of a particular race used women of all sorts to fight against each other. And it turns them on. And I'm convinced that there's a white man, overweight white man, in fact, that's behind Tasha K. And I'm going to say that I'm convinced of that. And so either way, I'm going to play this recording because, of course, like I said, this goes into kind of what we were discussing earlier. And I'm going to also give you guys some information that you can research yourself, and how, once again, as I said, that people play on the ignorance of Black people in America, and they use it to their own advantage, right? They play on the ignorance of, Black Americans, and they try to, level up off of that. Because they know you're going to spend your money. They know you're going to invest your time and energy with them. And you're going to, not really put that stuff back into your own life. So I'm going to play this, and I'm going to be pausing it frequently and pulling up some facts that you can look into. If you have not seen it, Tasha K had some type of conversation with this woman to allegedly discuss why T.S. Madison and other trans people does not like to deal whisper. And of course, the reason why she said that they do not like this person, it's not why I dislike this person. I don't know this person to begin with, but I hate when people try to act like they're coming out to help you when they're just here to harm you. And as I mentioned earlier, no one who is into DL men respect and love women. What I mean by that is no one who intentionally goes after DL men, which is somebody else's man, right? We're not going to talk about single DL men. We're talking about men who they know are screwing and fucking with their friends. Because see, that's been going on with a lot of, people in the community, LGBT people. A lot of them like to go for men who they know that they sister and they friends have slept with, because that, I don't know why, but there's a reason for that. And that person, Dale Whisper, gives it that. Naquan, I think is his name. He gives him that he wanted to fuck on all these men because all these men wanted his friends, or they have had his friends. And so for me, I'm not a fan of that Dale Whisper shit, right? And then also to be a part of the community and trying to get people to kind of hate other people in the community, which, like I said, doesn't affect me because I don't care, girl. You love me or you hate me, Anyway, let me play this, and then I'm gonna get into some tea because, baby, normally I don't do this, but like I said, we doing this tonight, and it ain't gonna take that long either.
All your little Trump fears away.
By the way, she's saying right here that Black women should put all your little Trump fears away.
And he's the best. I want you to really listen at what Nyla is about to unwind for every single biological woman there is in the world, okay?
Now, when people talk slow like this and they try to use the way you may feel and think with you, like they want to create some type of bonding moment with you. So it's like, I want to let you guys know something. These non-biological women do not like you. Yo, that's a psychological trick right there, by the way.
Especially in the United States of America. And T.S. Madison, in my opinion, is very complicit in this because this is her partner and co-founder on the start.
No, we're not going to get into that. I'm going to let this go because, of course, I want to try to hear that she's directing this to biological women in the world. And I think I'm going to start with my first little insert with this. And so, how many Black women are there in America? 21.1 million. How many Black trans women are there in America? Although there is not an exact amount, but it says that approximately 2.1 million adults in the U.S. identify as transgender. And it says right here, here's a rough breakdown. 16% of transgender adults identify as Black. So if 21.1 Black women are in America, by the way, and 22.1 million, that's less than 10% of that population identify as transgender. 16% of that, they identify as Black. So we had to give or take estimations here. Less than 1%. No, okay, we'll say this. Yeah, less than 1% of, we'll say, in ratio wise, 21 million Black women, and we'll say maybe about, give or take, 100,000 Black trans women. 100,000, 21 million. Compare that, right? Let's start off with that, right? You're not in danger, Black women, by trans people. You're not in danger by Black women, because even in this perspective, what we're going to put on this, how many Black women in America yearly have domestic assaults by their partner? It says more than 40% of Black women in the United States will experience intimate partner physical violence. So they're saying about a good 12 million? No, they're saying about a good, give or take 10 million will experience. So once again, trans people are not your enemies here, biological Black women. Trans women are not your issue, okay? I just wanted to pull it up before we get into it.
House that we're going to get into. But go ahead, Nyla. Start from where you were going. Go ahead.
Wait, will it let me forward this?
Well, you're welcome to come with me.
Yes, it will.
Has taken a plea.
And of course, they're going into this. She's going into this Dominique Morgan person. I mean, I'm like, girl, once a liar, always a liar. Once a fraud, always a fraud. I mean, I don't know this Dominique Morgan person. I can care less. Honestly, no tea, no shade. Whatever that person's done, that's their tea. The whole topic of this is to educate you people, especially you Black women, that the real enemy are people that look like Tasha K. The real enemy are people that look like yourself. It is not no trans. They're not checking on you.
Because the Neo Whisperers been trying to tell y'all that these men in wigs don't like you. They don't care for you.
Now, that's another thing, too. So if a white man came out, or a Black man came out, or anybody that's outside of being a Black woman came out and said, like how she just said, these men in wigs, right? That's her truth. That's her perception. These transgender people are men in wigs, right? And we know it's deeper than that, right? Because a lot of men have wigs on. Toupees are considered wigs, but that's not my business, right? We're not gonna touch that. But so if a white man came out and he said, these nappy-headed hoes, or if a white man came out and said, these buck-toothed, big-lip monkeys, or these women that wear horse hair, like he just had to start his conversation with that. Y'all wouldn't be bothered by that? That wouldn't make you feel some type of way? That would make you wonder, why is this white man so concerned about us wearing horse hair or us looking like mud? Why is this white man who's not into us really? Why is he so upset and angry to say nappy-headed hoes as if he don't want to be a nappy-headed hoe? Because Tasha K is a masculine appearing woman. And with or without a wig, if she put a wig on, to the average Joe in a room full of other, black people who wear wigs, they're not going to automatically assume, if they didn't know this person, that, oh, this is another woman. If it was more, is this a man or a woman? You think Tasha K would be, oh, we know for sure that's a woman. I'm just pointing that out, honey.
They lie about who they are as people, and then they turn around and lie and say what they gonna do to help their people. Whole time it's to help themselves.
Now I do agree with that. That's why I don't do the little community tea, honey.
The money that we donate, the money that the federal government donates to these nonprofits that Dominique sits on the board too.
So there's no woman nonprofit organizations that ever committed a crime. There's no nonprofit organizations that cater to women or men, black women or black men, that they did not do any crime. There's not been any type of indictment brought against any of the chair people that's on their board, right? Any type of their chairman, the directors, or anybody that's over that nonprofit organization. There's never been in American history, right? And I'm asking a question, that there's never been a non-trans organization that has never defrauded the government or taxpayer dollars.
And has since funneled to T.S. Madison's starter house, who he is co-founder of, okay? So this is the reason why they don't like him. That's right.
And once again, from my research, I don't see that T.S. Madison and Dominique Morgan don't care for Dear Whisper because of what he was going to expose. The Dear Whisper has called these women, and once again, I think it'll be far more offensive for a gay man to call me a man in a wig than a woman. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. But I think that, it's deeper than what we think, what we know, what we see. I think that T.S. Madison and D.L. Whisper has some, and y'all normally don't do videos like this, but I'm here to educate y'all because I feel like a lot of people that watch my stuff, even the people I've dealt with, are black women, and y'all need to know what y'all are up against, or what y'all doing, what y'all dealing with, and this whole camaraderie shit, and let's come together and let's band against these trends. Baby, that's not the issue. Okay, so we talked about the issue, honey. The issue is not the trans people. But either way, I think that these two people right here, and maybe these three people, have some industry shit going on, and it's coming out as if it's public stuff. And of course, that's my spiritual insight of that. Okay, all things are alleged to proven otherwise.
All right, go ahead, Nyla. Pick it up, baby. We got more receipts to unwind, baby.
Can I fast forward?
Okay. Putting out and rolling out was leading to it, to the obvious. And so all of this outrage and himself, and you should be able to look back at the criminal background and all of the... With one of those nonprofits, he used that nonprofit first that are set aside for men in wigs, correct? This is correct. They get facial feminization surgery. They get...
Okay, this is the part I want to get into. Hold on.
They get BBLs. He's a bad guy in a lot of ways. But when it comes to this specific issue, as a woman, let me talk to you for a second. And Nala, me and you had this discussion as we were...
She said let her talk to y'all. This is going to be y'all future governor.
There are a lot of women who have legit issues that they can't get covered through Medicare. And through Medicare.
She's saying there are black women out there, period, who have legitimate medical issues that they cannot get coverage for.
Okay, correct?
Through Medicaid. But Medicaid and Medicare under Democrats, and she's quoting,
will affirm
a surgery for a trans person
and
get them breasts.
Will determine if they have body dysmorphia and get gender.
Now, let's break this down. This is going to be the last part of the recording I'm going to play until, another tea. So let's get into this, right? In America annually, how much does a transgender pay for their transition? Between $25,000 to $100,000. And it's not annually, it's saying overall for their transition, right? So I want y'all to keep this number. $25,000 to $100,000 for the whole transition. something that she's going to say here, maybe I should let that play so it doesn't look like I'm putting words in this person's mouth. That's why I'm really playing it.
Reassignment surgery. They will help them to feminize themselves and provide a lot of the drugs that they take in order to become women or have women-like features. And so all of this is done through taxpayer dollars that are set aside for men in wigs, correct? This is correct.
And she is so upset, baby. Nobody's going to keep referring to somebody. And that's why I be thinking to myself, too. This is why I am so pro but anti. I am so pro for people calling people out their name. And I'm so against it in the sense of that I would never personally call someone out their name unless, of course, they call me out my name first. But in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, unless you're really upset at this person in particular, what's up with all this rage to say men in wigs? Why not just say this man? Why not just say this trans man? Why not just say this male that identifies as trans? Why are you so angry to say this man in a wig as if these people is not more than just a man in a wig? It just doesn't make sense to me, honey. But of course, like I said, this is this person's perception, and everybody's entitled to their own perception.
Facial feminization surgery, they get tummy tucks, they get breast implants, they get BBLs, anything that they can come up with that they decide that, oh, this is bothering me mentally, you know, that I'm a woman and I don't have these things. That's all they brag about it. They brag about it. Meanwhile, like you said, women like myself and probably lots of women in your audience are suffering with PCOS, endometriosis, women have fertility issues.
So she said PCOS, endometriosis, and fertility issues. So let's look this up. It said that 25K to 100K. Usually when you have endometriosis and, you know, it's just so unbearable, they actually perform a hysterectomy. So let's look this up. How much does a hysterectomy cost? It says between $1,800 to over $40,000. Now, keep in mind that it says for the overall transition of a trans person, it's $25K to $100,000 in America. And it says for one hysterectomy, and y'all, this is just a hysterectomy. When it comes to transitioning, girl, you're getting your face done, you're getting a BBL. Like they said, this is their words, not mine. You're getting your breast done, you're getting a BBL, you're getting a tummy tuck, you're getting your balls cut off, you're getting a sex change, you're getting all this stuff. This is not going to be over $100,000 with all this put together. Right? So make note of this. But for one hysterectomy, that's just getting the uterus taken out, is $1,800 to over $40,000. And it says that depending heavily on the surgical method, facility, and insurance coverage. Without insurance, of course, the coverage says they range from $7,000 to $14,000 in California. I wanted to point that out. Now let's look at PCOS treatment. How much does it cost for PCOS treatment? If that's even a thing. It says annually, it is $400 to $500 annually for basic management, right? And this is probably a lifetime thing, y'all. And it says $30 monthly for the medication without insurance. And so we put this in retrospect already, that there's 21.1 million Black women in America. And there is literally maybe 100,000 Black trans women in America. Or, like they say, transgenders that identify as Black. And I'm assuming that this is for male and female transgenders, not just, female, male to female. But it also said here that for one transition, for 100,000 people is $100,000, which is what, $1 million in total. And of course, we can just calculate that right now. Let's just get into it right now very quickly. And we know the numbers, but for the sake of, it's actually 10 million. So that's $10 million for every Black transgender woman in America to have a full sexual transition. $10 million, right? $10 million, right? And that's a one-time thing for the 100,000 Black trans women in America. Now there's 21 million women out there. And what I want to look up, 21 Black women out there. What I want to look up is, what is the percentage of Black women in America that suffer from endometriosis? And I know I'm fucking that name up. Endometriosis. Endometriosis. There we go. It said 10%. It said 10% of women of reproductive age, yes, it's significantly undiagnosed in Black women due to care and research. While studies show varying figures, one recent study found 5.8%. Okay, let's do this. How many hysterectomies are performed on Black women every year? It says 500,000 hysterectomies are performed annually across all demographics. And it said for Black women, it is 10,000. So let's do the calculations here. Okay, let's do the calc. And this is just for a hysterectomy, y'all. There's a lot of women, medical issues that insurance allegedly is not covering or helping for women. So let's say 10,000, and we're going to do 40,000. Okay, that is 400 million. I think I misquoted that. I think it's 10 billion for the hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. Okay, let's do this. Okay. No, I stand on what I stand on. Okay. No, I said it right. No, I said it right, honey. Ones, tens, thousands, million. Uh-huh. So I said what I said. And then what was it? 40,000 times 10. Okay, honey. Okay. There's a big difference. Okay, you have 10 million and you have 400,000. Okay, either way, there's a big difference in that amount. Either way, there's a big difference in 10. And once again, this is just for a hysterectomy. Hold on, girl. Hold on, I'm seeing some tea. Hold on, girl. They wanna come out and party. They said let's party. While the bitch is doing a fucking call. Let's party. Yeah, let's party tonight, honey. Let's party, honey. Let's party, girl. We don't play with motherfucking spiders. Let's party, baby. Baby. Let's party. So for just a hysterectomy, y'all, and this is just for Black women, because of course it's saying all, right? It says that it's 500,000 performed across all demographics annually, but in Black women, it's 10,000. Like I said, that's just for hysterectomy. It's still not adding up. It's still not making it to where all of our money is going on these people. A lot of transgenders, by the way, does not get their sex change and stuff covered by Medi-Cal. And I should even look that up too. I should say Medi-Cal. Annually, how many sexual reassignment surgeries does Medi-Cal or Medicaid cover? Of course, they're not going to tell you that. Because a lot of girls pay for that stuff out of pocket like myself, honey. I didn't, Medi-Cal and Medicaid didn't cover nothing for me, honey. Everything I've got done, I paid out of pocket for. Please do it. But let me play this, and I'm going to be done, and I'm going to close this out.
That, the government would never fund, but they are funding even for inmates. Up until this current administration, inmates were allowed to get gender reassignment surgery on.
Girl, this girl's looking on this camera like she's uncovering something just oh my God.
Women have a heart and compassion for everyone, but you have to help yourself first. We are being counted out. Our services are.
So this is where I'm going to close up with this, because of course y'all can look up this whole interview by yourself. me look up something. How many crimes are reported trans versus biological women annually? I know I worded that differently too because I just came up right now. Hold on. How many trans on women violence has been reported annually? It says approximately 360 million women, 11% of women age over 50 are subject to physical. Okay, so that it says intimate partner. So I don't think there's any public record or any type of public reports of trans women going out hitting on women. I think that, as you know, and it's just my honest opinion, before y'all go into trying to attack and bash people of an experience that has nothing to do with you, right? And that's just that I feel like there's people outside trying to somehow, some way get it to where, and of course I've seen it on YouTube, I've had my own experiences where it's like NATO women versus trans women. And it's like, but no one's checking on you. And even going into Tasha K and people like this saying that people like me doesn't care for women. We never have and we never will. My best friends are women. All my friends growing up were women. If I saw a woman getting violated by a man, I'm jumping in. And I'm not jumping in since where I'm about to get my ass whooped too, but I'm definitely going to be macing, sauteing, or slicing up, especially if I see it get to where it's like about to be a situation. I told y'all this before, and if y'all don't know, we're going to get into this. Can we get into this very lightly, politely? And so I knew this girl, y'all, and this put me in like a real, this was actually my first crime that I witnessed that I actually was going to go testify against, but it was thrown out because the woman decided to drop charges, but the public defender was like, I think we're going to still go ahead and go through with it. And they end up not doing it. But I literally was cool with this girl. And I'm not going to say her name, but she was cool. She ended up coming and live with me for a little bit. And she was dating this guy. This guy was like this ghetto acting white guy. And I was like, something is out with this couple because this girl's like this quiet ass, prissy ass, girl. And this white guy, he's just this ghetto ass, nah, me. I'm like, how does he know her? And so, y'all, I would hear them like arguing and I would, like say my business. I would hear them arguing. I would just be like, I'm not getting in that. But one day in particular, something like I was taking a nap and I felt something and it woke me up. And I'm hearing them arguing and it's loud, y'all, but I can hear this arguing like there was a shift in the atmosphere. And so when I got up, normally, like I said, when they're arguing, I mind my business. I don't get in that because I'm like, this is just a couple fighting. When I went in this room and I opened this door, mind y'all, this is around the time when I just started taking hormones. So when you're taking hormones, like your strength and stuff, it gets depleted, right? Because everything is just changing. Your bone, everything's just being reconfigured. And so and of course I'm pointing that out because it wasn't like this big ass person coming in and saying, oh, bitch, don't hit her. And I was never a big person like that, right? I was, I could show my pre-transitional pictures and stuff, right? I was very like skinny and shit. But when I opened up this door, this man had a marble block that he was about to throw at this girl. And I literally opened this door and I jumped and I pushed him against the wall. So he hit his head on this wall. This brick thing went through the wall and she ended up running out. When she ran out, I ended up calling the police because I could tell this man was upset. Like, girl, and that's the other thing too. He hit that wall so hard, y'all, that you would think that when he hit that wall, he would have just stopped. He hit that wall and it something fueled him to say, oh, fuck, now I'm coming after both of you bitches. So he was reaching for something. We ran out. I closed the room door that he was in. She ran outside. I closed the apartment door. I locked it. He was trying to come out. I called the police, baby. I don't know how, y'all, but those police got there so fucking fast. When they got there, they walked in on him like literally getting his weapon of choice. And so they end up taking him to jail. They told her, everything's cool, blah, blah, blah. She's telling, crying to me, saying, oh my God, you saved me, you saved me. And I'm pointing all this up to tell y'all this. Because of course, like I said, going into me being a trans woman of color, a trans woman of whatever, I never looked at man or woman as being my threat. I never looked at people as, oh, it's a woman, so she's my competition. At the end of the day, I keep telling all this is that the biggest problem in all this, the common denominator, is man. If the man were not attracted to the trans, if the man did not treat the trans in a particular way, this would not be an issue. Clearly, a lot of women are upset about trans stuff and are using out. These are knowledgeable women because I think that Tasha K has knowledge of men who are trans attracted. I think this person may have possibly dated a man who was trans attracted and told them the story, right? And even going into this as well, because I keep telling all this, as a little sideline, right? Because I'm gonna like kind of add shit in or combine stuff. And so either way, they're going to make it seem like, oh, we got to get rid of these trannies because they're fucking on our man. They're transitioning to look like us. There are men who are into feminine energy that will have intercourse with just a gay man. They don't got to have sex with a trans person. They don't have to see a man with breasts or a man with a wig on get turned on. They're fucking on their homeboys. And so in the grand, scheme of it all, as I said, trans is not the issue. If there's anything, it is the men that are dicking you down and you feel some type of way about him. You know that these men, it has been outed, y'all, recently. None of this outrage started before any type of celebrity expose happened. Before it came out that any of these celebrities were into these trans women, there was no group of women coming together saying, ban the trans. And by the way, transgenders have been known and publicly accessible since 1970 something. There have been men transitioning in America since the motherfucking 50s. It became a problem when you found out your favorite rappers and R&B DJ shit was fucking on them. And a lot of these women that are behind the scenes of this, and you're going to find out a lot of these people are friends with these people. They're connected with these people. They've had conversations with these people, and they say, oh, this is so fucked up that this trans would do that. And of course, what did the man tell the girl? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, he didn't tell me. I had no idea that was a tranny. I thought it was a woman. And so it's making it seem like there's a problem, and it's making trans people be the enemy number one. When, like I said, in reality, the men are the ones that are dicking them down. The men are the ones that are also putting their hands on you. The men are the ones that are also creating children with you and leaving you to take care of those kids by yourself. The men are also the ones that are disrespecting you. When you sit back and think about it, women who has a brain, how many physical fights have you got into with a trans? How many in-person debates and arguments or whatever, calling out your name, that has been with a trans man or trans woman? How many? Just to compare and contrast, when you have problems in this world, has it been more trans than more women? Or more women than more men? Let's just lay it out all on the table. As a Black woman in America, what has been your number one problem your whole life? Has it been trans people? Has it been Black women, other Black women, or has it been men? And that's when you start to connect the dots and pay attention to it being that it's not just about a group. And now that's what I'll be saying too. Like, I'm for racism because people are for transphobia. I'm for racism and even sexism because you're racist. And the minute that you guys start realizing that it is a game, you guys are going to be in big trouble. You hate on trans women are not going to get Medicaid and Medicaid to cover the necessities you need. And that'd be another thing too, where these people are trying to make it seem like you want to stop supporting them. Girl, whether or not, you pay the tax or not, a transgender is going to find a way how to have those surgeries. I think Medicaid and Medicaid just barely start covering those surgeries like in 2018 or something. You know how many transgenders had surgery before 2017? You know how many transgender? Let's look this up. That's what we're going to do. Let's look this up. When did Medicaid and Medicare cover transitional services for trans people? I'm sure I asked that wrong. But it said in 2014, Medicare and Medicaid began covering transition-related care for transgender individuals, primarily started in 2014. So, and it says right here, following a federal decision that invalidated a long-term standing experimental exclusion. This shift allowed for coverage of gender affirming. So 2014, y'all, they barely start covering. You know how many transgenders have had surgery done before 2014? You know Amanda Lepore had her sex changed way before 2014? You think Medicare and Medicaid covered that? Like, I'm just talking, right? We're just having a conversation here. The real big problem is the person that you see in the mirror. If you have some type of disdain for people of trans experience, it has nothing to do with you having a dislike for them because Medicare is covering their surgeries. It has nothing to do with you not liking them because they are fooling and tricking on man. Because in reality, these so-called men that they're tricking and fooling on, and that's what I be thinking too. If I was a cisgender woman, I wouldn't care if a man is into a trans. I mean, unless it's my man. I probably wouldn't give a fuck anyway. But unless it's my man, then I'll probably be like, baby, you can go be with them. But I'm thinking to myself, like, a lot of women say that men ain't shit anyway. I would be thinking like, girl, y'all saving us. Thank you so much for taking these low down, dirty fucking dogs from us women, you trannies. Like, that would be my comeback. I would not be out here saying, you niggas in wigs, because I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. And that's going to be my follow. That's going to be my ending with all this stuff. So we cleared out that a hysterectomy alone is, done on at least 10,000 Black women annually. We've also concluded and put together that 100,000 of the whole population of transgender is Black identifying. So we also showed that it said 25K to 100K for a trans person to fully transition. And so even like said, going into those numbers and Medicare not covering, but Medicare would cover a nigga in a wig to get his breast implant stuff. Breast implants is about a good $7,000. And that's it depends on what type of girl you are. It's a one-time thing or you're going to have to get it done every so often. But still, hysterectomies is an ongoing thing. There's not going to be 10,000 new trainees popping up every year. I can bet y'all that. There's not going to be, girl, if that ever was to happen, girl, there's something going on with the system. But I just want y'all to see it for the bigger picture, that the population of trans is much smaller than a population of women. And even going into the sense of how much women are out there compared to trans people. 21.1 Black women in America. And this is those who identify, because there are some women out there that are racially ambiguous and are white passing, and they don't say they're Black. So it did say that 100,000, okay, and of course this is all guesstimations, but it does not outweigh, there's not more trainees out there than there are women out there. And even in the sense of this, y'all too, I mean, we're kind of fighting for like scavengers, because I think they said there's more women out there than there are men. Let's look this up population wise. Because we're not going to say Black men and Black women, because we know some Black women like all types of men. What is the population of women in the world? Oh, let's do this. What is the population of women in America? 168 to 169 million women. What is the population of men in America? 164 to 165. So I believe that is saying, hold on, population of women in America. There are more women in this world or in America than there are men. Period. And so, of course, we're not fighting for dead, because I didn't expect for them to say 100 and something million. That's what it says, and I don't know if they're including transgender to that, because you just never know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But even then, they said there's only 100,000 trans, black identifying trans people. But either way, it says that men make up 50.5 to 50.9% of the population. And they're saying, oh no, it says men, excuse me, women. Women makes up a little more than half of the population. And so in my mind, I'm like, you're getting all your issues from the people the opposite sex that you like. You're not getting your issues from the trans people. Okay. And just putting that on that. Just leaving out of that. Because like I said, I feel like we're talking about the same shit and beating a dead horse and shit. Understanding how numbers work and understanding the ratio of things and why things are the way it is. And like I said, people with a brain is going to be able to think. People who are dead, brain dead, they're not going to be able to think. And they're going to use people like Tasha K and, all these other people to kind of speak for them. I've always asked questions of whoever, appointed these people, as role models for all, for a whole group. And I don't think that all Black women in America like Tasha K's or care for the Nayla girl she talked to or anybody of that, right? I'm sure there's just a amount of people that likes her as well as that they hate her. But my whole point is this, that they're going to make it seem like your enemies is the trans people when they're really not. Whether or not you like and accept the trans people, you're not going to eradicate that population. Whether or not they pass policies to allow transgenders to transition, they're not going to stop transgenders from transitioning. Y'all, from a very long time, 1950s on up, and it's still happening, even with surgeries being covered by Medicare and Medicaid. There are girls getting pumped right now in alleys, in trash cans, at hotels, in hotel lobbies, in medical spas. And so I want you to understand that even before, because of course, even gay marriage barely became legal within the past, 20 years. You didn't stop gay people from loving each other. Y'all need to really, honestly, truly take all that aggression, all that frustration that you have, or at least they want you to have for people of a particular experience, and actually question your leaders. Why are the Black spiritual community leaders, why are they all caught up in some type of bullshit? Why are they saying that they're the chosen ones and God picked them and Jesus loves them? But they have the same problems that you find and that you have. Stats actually said that Black women are the least desirable of women in the world, that they are considered the most undateable. This is what statistics states. That's not what I say. That's what the stats say. So you think your problem is really the trannies? Because like I said, I don't think that majority of the trannies out here trying to marry and date on Black women. I don't and it's not because they don't like them like that. I just think that these women are into men just like you're into men. And just because you want them don't mean that you're going to get them, right? And clearly we see that. And so even going into myself and speaking, thinking, allow for even the trans people that be, wanting to settle down on a man and can't find a man, or, a man ain't trying to settle down. Girl, don't feel too bad, because girl, and I've been other thing too, we have a lot in common more than we have in difference. And we don't make it to where we have that in common. Because like Tasha K said, other people said, these are men that are parading around as something that they're not. They're putting on wigs to act like they're women. But in reality, with or without the wig, they're still going to be who they are. The spirit and the energy and the mannerism does not change whether it's a wig or it's not a wig. Because we can call mamas and daddies and aunties before my physical transition to say, have I always been a woman? Or was I a man that pretended to be a woman? Has I always spoken to myself as a girl? Or was I always like, I hate women? Oh, I don't want to be a woman because I really can't stand them. I want to take their place. Hell, we can even talk to men. We can talk to men I've dated. I've never compared myself and had any conversations with men, because I like straight identified men, to ever say that, oh, you like those smelly ass fishes? I've never spoke like that. Nobody will ever have a recording or even a private dialogue of me talking about a woman. Even when I had a discussion with a woman or debates with a woman and a woman wanted to come for me and say training, I never say, girl, that's why you bleed. That's why you I don't do that because I don't have a problem with women. But a lot of people who do have a problem with women, including other women, they want to elude that. Once again, they want to distract you. And even going into y'all, and I'm telling y'all right now, this is bigger than what is seen right now, what is made to see right now. A lot of these women want to protect these womanizers. A lot of these women want to protect these PDFers. And so they're going to come together and they're going to want to shift your direction on who is the real enemy. It's these niggas in the wigs. Stop supporting them. You're not going to stop the money though, girl. Because the last time I checked, women don't pay for dates. The last time I checked, women are not calling Backpage ads, well, Backpage ain't up no more, but women are not booking escort services with trannies. The last time I checked, women are not paying for tranny content. The last time I checked. So it's like, girl, what exactly would you be stopping outside of making your man? And that's what I said, there's a man behind it. And mark my word when I take out this. There's men behind these group of people that's making it seem like trans people are the issues. And these are men that either want trans or these are men that have other sexual perversions going on. And they want to try to distract you so you don't focus on that. Let me tell you something else that's kind of disturbing. Because I was seeing underneath the comment section. Do you know that at 13 years old, the 13-year-old does not have to disclose their medical records to their parents? Do you know that medically your 13 or 14-year-old doesn't have to disclose their medical information with you, their mom and their dad? You think that trannies cause that to happen? Because one of the comments was saying something along the lines of, yeah, it's so sick that they're covering these young boys to become women. No, babe. What I know for sure, and I've standed on this, and I'm gonna continue to stay on this. What's going on is a lot of these PDFers are using a trans movement to allow things to be passed to protect them on their perversions. And so what they want to hopefully do is to help repopulate this planet, because a lot of women out there are unmarried and or don't want any more kids or can't have no kids due to birth control side effects. And so they're going to make it to where they could have it with a younger person while you're being distracted by transgender people, niggas in wigs. They're going to be passing laws to say that a grown man that is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 could sleep with your 13-year-old. And that's what they're doing. And they're using people like Tasha K to distract you. So you don't look into that. You're not asking questions. Why can't my 13 or 14-year-old go have surgery done without me approving it? Why can't my 13 or 14-year-old have a ABO with me approving it? And I can't question why they have the ABO or who even got them pregnant. Why are you not questioning that? But instead of them talking about that, because that is a big issue for Black women, right? Black women should be concerned about that. They should not be concerned about a nigga in a wig. They should not be concerned about a chick with a dick. They should not be concerned about a man with a prostate or a woman with a prostate. They should be asking questions why the 13-year-old can make adult decisions medically. They should be asking questions about why a grown-ass man want to pray over their kid, their 13-year-old. That's what they should be asking questions. But like I said, they're not going to ask those questions. You know why? Because they're PDF protectors. And that's the real problem. It's never been about Native women versus trans women. It's always been about, let's use the trans people as a distraction. Let's talk about them so they don't look into it. That's the thing too. Is Tasha K gonna ever talk about the Epstein files? Is Tasha K gonna talk about that? Is Tasha gonna talk about the countries out there that allow these grown-ass men to marry young-ass women to have babies with them? Is she ever gonna address that as a Buddhist Black American? Like, I thought that Buddhist was about peace and elevation of the spirit. Is she ever going to address the real problems at hand? Because what a man in the wig chooses to do with his own body and his own life, that's his business. But what is your business as a mother in this country is why is your 13 or 14-year-old allowed to make medical decisions or have the medical record concealed from you, the parent? That should be a big concern for you. Your big concern should not be by a grown-ass nigga want to get his dick cut off. Your big concern should not be by a grown-ass nigga want to take hormones to look like you. That is not your concern. Your real concern is why does these so-called medical professionals and law people passing laws to keep your children medical records private? And people be thinking, oh yeah, Planned Parenthood got shut out because it's that. Baby, all that is connected. But like I said, you guys will surely see. I don't know what I could discuss. I mean, I could feel like I want to discuss, but you know how, YouTube and all these things, they're sensitive on certain topics. But the real problem, once again, is not trans people. That's not the problem. And if you do got a problem with one trans person, how many women do you have a problem with that look like you? How many men do you have a problem with? How many trans women? Like, let's talk about it. And ultimately, what is this nigga in the wig doing that's taken away from you? Medi-Cal is covering their surgeries, but how does that take from your table? That doesn't make sense. How does that take from you? Why not go down and fight the lawmakers to give you coverage and stuff? Why are you it just, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe to other people it does make sense. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm the, I'm the only one that's not concerned with speaking about it. You guys are going to surely see what this all is. You're going to surely see, once again, the Deal Whisperer and the women that are standing behind this person. It's all a movement. It's all a big movement. There's people behind them, honey. Allegedly, one woman donated $10,000 or a large lump sum of money to this man to be able to take a trans woman to court. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm like, where does the average person get $10K from and just be able to donate to somebody who's clearly a nasty ass person? And that'd be my problem too, where I be thinking like they really be playing with people's stupidity. You're more concerned about a nigga in a wig. And I'm sorry I keep saying like that because that's y'all perceptions, right? And we got to just, what they say, you got to meet them where they're at. They're more concerned about a nigga in a wig get into the bag than they are concerned about a man sleeping with their man. Like, let's talk about it. I would be more upset as a woman, and I'm just saying, we're not going to be delusional here. I would be more upset about a gay man that comes out openly and makes his content about exposing the man that slept with him. Like, my thing would be, do you want to be me? What is the purpose of that? Why would you want? There's so many gay men out there. There's so many men out there that are openly gay, that are fine, hot, sexy, rich. Why do you want our men? We're already kind of fighting for men. Like, these would be the questions. But no, they're not concerned with that. Because the whole agenda is to come for a trans woman. And like I said, and I'm going to play both sides here because maybe that's just, like I said, I don't have a daughter in that fight. What you trans women need to do, if they are going to deem you public enemy number one, if they are going to deem you a threat to cisgender women, I'm going to tell y'all right now, get to everything you want to get to. And that's why I'm going to end it with that. Get to everything you're going to get to. If they're mad at 100,000 and there's 21.1 million of them, 21.1 million versus 100,000. And we can't even say it's all the 21.1 million either, but they're trying to get all 21.1 million to come and fight. We're going to say let's do half and half. So 10 million versus 500,000. Let that sink in for a minute. You think that that's a threat? And that's why I told y'all earlier, they really do play on the ignorance or the naiveness, or to say naivete, of certain people. They think that you guys are not going to pay attention. My questions, my concerns as a Black woman in America, and if you want to say Black trends, that's your opinion. My concern is, why are the Black men putting their hands on us? My concern is why the Black men who so-called love us are helping to destroy us and abuse us. My question is, why is my 13 or 14-year-old able to have medical discussions or any type of discussion with a medical professional and I can't see these notes? I can't ask why. Those are the real concerns of Black women in America. Now, of course, you could probably think and say, is my man gay? Do my man like other men? But see, once again, we're talking about trans. Is my man trans attracted? 100,000? I mean, girl, there's not enough for them to go around. I mean, they said there's 168 million men out there, girl. I mean, honey, 100,000? And there's 168 million now? I mean, unless these girls gonna be, girl, listen, I'm not one of them. I have strict rules on who could, have a piece of this. But unless these girls are gonna be taking on 10,000 plus a lifetime, which I don't believe that, because I think a lot of these girls share men. That's another reason I'm not into publicly trans attracted men. But anyway, that's not my business. We're not going to discuss that. That's personal tea. But like I said, 100,000 versus 160 million. Is that really your concern that a man is into these 100,000, or let alone 168 million versus 2 million? What they say, 2.1 million identify as trans. 106, girl, even if all the trainees took all the men, there would still be 150 something million men left for you women to fight over. Like, girl, let's talk about it. Like, in my mind, I'm like, are we really having a discussion over who's public enemy number one and stuff? Are we really having a discussion on that? So it's the trainees that call CPS on y'all. It's the trainees that got y'all pregnant, that left y'all to take care of these kids. It's the trainees that caused y'all to get a government assistant. It's the trainee that put their hands on y'all. Hey, let's blame it on the trainee, girl. It's the trainee's fault for everything, girl. It's the trainee's reason why your parents left you. Like, it's the trainees. Let's blame it all on the niggas in the wigs. Blame it all on them. Every nigga in a wig, y'all should be ashamed of yourself, because you're the reason why these women can't find a man. You're the reason why these women cannot get the life that they dreamed of. Trannies, y'all are blockers. Y'all are blocking these women. You're the reason why they can't get a job. You're the reason why they can't get more money. You're the reason why they can't get the apartment they want. You're the reason why they didn't get approved for that loan. You're the reason why the bank denies that loan. You're the reason why all that. You're the reason why some of them have to file bankruptcy. Hell, better yet, you trannies or you niggas in the wigs are the reason why Cardi B and Tasha K is going at it. Hell, girl, you niggas in the wigs are the reason why everything is going on in the world. You're the reason why ICE is in America. You're the reason why everything, girl. Just blame it on the niggas in the wigs, girl. The niggas in the wig, the man in the wig, girl. The men's in the wigs, girl. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all the reason for the weather. Y'all the reason for the storm that we just had, the snowstorm that left. Y'all the reason for everything, y'all. Y'all the reason for the days becoming shorter. Y'all the reason for the earthquakes that go on. It's all the niggas in the wigs' fault. It's all the men in the wig fault. Let's just blame it on everything. The man ain't calling because he's probably over there with a tranny. The job ain't calling because they hired a nigga in a wig. You depressed right now because a nigga in a wig is around. You're really upset at your baby daddy because you thought of a nigga in a wig. Let's just blame the niggas in wigs on everything. And I bet you people will be able to sleep at night now. I bet you if they all come out and say, these 100,000, these 2.1 million Americans... Yeah, let's get into it right now. Hold on. Wait. This is how I gotta close this out. Oh, what is the United States population? 342 million. Almost 343. We're reaching the halfway point at 342 million, girl. And it said that 1 million. Hold on. Let's see this. How many transgenders are in America? Hold on. Let this sink in. It said that 2.8 million aged over 13 identify as transgender. So out of 342 million, 2.8 million of these people are wreaking havoc on the world, y'all. Could y'all believe that? Out of the 342 million, less than 1%. I want y'all to think about that. Less than 1% of the population is fucking everything up. Oh my God. They are really, could you imagine? Girl, there's more rich people in this world than there are trans people. And yet y'all not question what the fuck they've done for you. But you talking about the transgenders is the motherfucking issue. I just, listen, I'm telling you this right now. There'll be times where I'll be praying and hoping because, we know that we all gonna, we're gonna perish sooner or later. There's times where I just be like, spirit, honey, whatever's gonna come in, Planet X, girl, they be saying alien shit, girl. When is the mothership coming? Like, girl, there's times I just be like, listen, there's no way I live in this reality. There's no way I'm from this planet. There's no way that that I was taught by the same school system as these people. There's no way that I'm having the same experiences as these people. There's no way to believe that 2.8 million people, mind you, some of these so-called transgender people are disabled physically. You have some transgender people that are in wheelchairs and stuff, by the way. You have some trans people that hide and live in their house and never come outside, by the way. So out of the less than 1% of the population, they're the reason why Medicare will not cover women's surgeries or women needed medical necessities. They're the reason. They're the reason why, as biological women, you should be concerned. Like, wait, what? So you should be more concerned of the 2.8 million, but not the 158 million? So I'm just, what exactly is going on here? So the undateable issues because the trannies are taking all the men? 158 million versus 2.8 million. There's enough men for everybody to have, by the way. Everybody can have these men, y'all. It's enough men for everybody. It's enough men out there for everybody. Why we can't just coexist, co-inhabit the planet? Why do we have to be so distracted by things that are so frivolous, things that are so just, oh my God. On a scale of things, because sometimes people don't see things the way that others see things. Sometimes people's perception is off. If you had if you wanted to buy a house and this house had everything you needed in that house, including the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, and it costed you $343 million, and all you had was 2.8 million. How much more million do you need to get this house? How far away do you feel from your goal of getting into that house? Hell, a lot of you smoke weed. If the best weed in the world costs you 343 million, and all you have was 2.8 million, girl, are you gonna be able to smoke that weed or what? Or what you gonna do that? Like, you thinking about that, stepping back for a minute. be the biggest? What is greater, the 343 million or the 2.8? And they're saying over 13 years of age. This is not even adult transgenders in America. Put that in that perspective too. It's at 13 years of age or older in America. And we know there are more youths than there are adults. And I want to just pull this up to confirm this while we're on here, because they say I talk out my ass. How many 13 to 18-year-olds live in America? So it said 25 to 26 million children aged 12 to 16 in the United States. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I stand corrected on there being more children than adults out there. I stand corrected. It does say right here that what does that mean? It said 13 to 7. Oh, there we go. 13 to 17-year-olds are roughly 21 million. So there's about the same amount of teenagers out there between 13 and 17 as there are Black women in America. Now let's look up how many 13 to 17-year-olds identify as transgender. 724,000 youths identify as transgender. So you have 23 million versus 724K. Now, 724K out of the 2.8 million is what? Because they said there's 2.8 million trans identifying people in America. So you were to take the 724K, which is almost, it's about 300 and what, 70 something thousand from a million. You're looking at about roughly 2 million adults. Only 2 million adults identify as transgender, right? And like I said, this is all estimates. But like I said, people use their brain. You're going to use your brain. People who don't use their brain, you're not going to use your brain. And, people like Tasha K, they love, talking to people that don't use their brain. I've pointed this out and even observed this, back in the day. A lot of Black spiritualists will pander and, offer spiritual services to only other Black folk. They don't want to take on white, Hispanic, or Asian type of clientele because they're not going to pull the same scams and tricks on these people as they can pull on the Black people. And that's why, like I said before, your PDFers and your PDFer enablers, your access, what they say, all access points, that's what we're going to call them. Access points, girl, your access points and PDFs, PDF files, honey. Hello, your PDF files and your access points, honey. They, girl, they work hand in hand. And like I said, they, a lot of people are connected to that. A lot of your so-called people are here to be awaken you. They're a part of that. And like I said, I stand on what I stand on. Allegedly, but you do your research. Either these people know they call a PDFer or woman abuser, and we're going to put it in perspective. PDFer of Black kids and Black womanizers. They're cool with these people. They don't check these people. There's no radio show of them checking and saying, yo, bro, why are you putting your hands on your baby mama? Come put your hands on me. You don't see videos like that. But every time you turn around, they're moving the distraction, and it's the gays. It's the trannies, the Hershey Highwayers, the Fruity Tooties, the Booty Tooties, the Little Richards. It's the RuPauls. That's what they keep bringing up. They don't have a speech or a whole discussion on men who hit women. And that's something too. You notice the ones who've done specials on gay people, anti-gay campaigns who are claiming to be spiritually awakened, these are usually the ones that are either woman abusers or PDFers. There's not been one spiritual person, and I'm willing to stand corrected, that has been anti-LGBT, that claim to be spiritually awakened, and they're not connected to a PDFer or a womanizer in any way, shape, or form. And if you guys show me one, I'll correct my statement. But they all have had a history of putting their hands on women. They all have had a history of putting their hands on children. And if they have not done it themselves, they know someone who's done it. And instead of them using their points to tell women how to protect themselves from men who like to put their hands on children and other women, they want to say, women, watch out for the homosexuals. As if the homosexuals are trying to suck on you and fuck on you, girl. Excuse me? Y'all better wake up, girl. And that's how I'm leaving with that. Y'all better wake the fuck up. As if the homosexuals and girl, and for what I was told, girl, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But they're not checking on you. Trust me, I tell you that. They're not checking on you. And even making a weird comparison too, and is that it's sexual perversion versus another sexual perversion. As they were saying, Tasha and this other person, that T.S. Madison and Dominique Morgan was going after Dear Whisper because he was going to expose their alleged scamming that they're doing. But I'm like, I think that that's what you guys are making it seem like, when in reality, this man is more spiritually immoral than these trainees are. These trainees became women, and the men are trying to beat down their door. This man became a DL lover or whisperer to expose them. And in reality, it's giving me that he exposed them. And like I said, this is my honest opinion, and it's alleged, right, until proven otherwise, is that something happened, and these two women, or one of these two women, was brought up in the discussion. I'm willing to say that Dear Whisper had an interaction with a man, and the man brought up trans woman, or one or two of these people, if not both of them, Dominique Morgan and T.S. Madison, and it made him feel some type of way. Because I've seen it so many times, and that's what I said, baby, I mind my business and keep my business, because it'd be the trainees who trying to throw other trainees under the bus, and it'd be the gay men that be doing the same thing. These gay men be out here trying to put on wigs and transition to get these niggas, when they find out these niggas be dicking down these trainees effortlessly. And like I said, to be other trainees too, they feel some way. They feel like they're the baddest bitch. And when they find out, it's, wait, this girl had him? Because he said it, right? Not the girl. Because I'm one of those girls, I don't tell on the people I sleep with. Even if they piss me off, you will never get an expose out of me. No matter what man I had, and I've been with some men, rappers, dancers, videographers, singers, Grammy nominated too, by the way. But you'll never get an expose out of me, bitch. Even if they piss me off, because maybe I got my money. I got my money. My time, that money was well spent too. I got my time, bitch. But on top of that, and of course, I will never give you victory over me, because you will use that as, this is a man who exposed another man, so he's gay. I will never give you that type of power, bitch. So it's really for them and not that. But either way, the guy will have the conversation with these gay men or these other trannies, and it make them feel some type of way, and now they want to be your enemy. And that's what I learned over the years, the past 3 years. Girls that I didn't even care for, didn't even know, does not like me. And I'm like, well, why did they not like me? And then coming to find out, just so happened, we have the same motherfucking man, or the same motherfucking man, he's a tranny church. He like all trannies, all sizes. And when they decided, when the man figured out that we were connected, and how do you know Mia? They're like, wait, how do you know Mia? No, how do you know? Then they start putting two together. Oh, you must have, wait, what? You been giving it, wait, hold up. You gonna fuck, you. And now it's, let's smear Mia. Let's get amongst the gays and let's talk about Mia. Baby, listen, you talk about me all day long, girl. You're never gonna get a pre-transitional picture. You're not gonna get no STD or STI results being positive. Hello, we can always do blood work. We can always do drug tests, baby. You're not going to have none of that on me, baby, because I'm not that girl. But like I said, that's what they do. And so this whole experience with Dear Whisper, and they're going to use Dear Whisper to come after T.S. Madison, and the energies like that, because that also be the things that I be saying too, that these gay men be sitting up doing as well. that they be trying to kiki and cackle with these women, and I'm here to support you, and I'm not your enemy, and blah blah blah. They be doing the same thing with these men too. A true story. And as I said, I'm against everybody. I'm pro everybody. I don't mingle with people because they're part of the LGBT community. If that looks like I'm anti-gay, anti-trans, so be it. I don't care. I don't have time to sit around and face with people that are fake to me. They got their own problems, their own issues to be worked out. And instead of working them out, and that's how I feel about even Black people in America, instead of working out your own problems, you want to come out, you want to share your trauma with other people. And a lot of people, and that's how I be feeling too, the gay community, the Black community got a lot in common. They be trauma bonding. They don't connect with people because these people are healed Black folks, or these are Black folks that's going to help them heal. They be bonding with people because they be also traumatized Black folks that want to live in that trauma and keep reliving over and over and over and over and over, like the slavery stuff. Same thing with the gay shit, right? They want to keep living the, oh girl, yeah, I'm anyway. They trauma bond. And so either way, I knew the straight identifying man. And when I met this man was a straight guy. He never was into trans or anything. We started talking. One thing I learned about intelligence is a lot of people, they think that they're into men or they're into women, but in fact, they like intelligence. They like somebody that's going to bring them a fresh air experience. So either way, I met this guy, and this guy identifies being straight. And I didn't know he had a gay guy friend. So I guess he wanted to broaden his horizon. That's not here or there, right? And so I met him, and maybe it took about 2 years of us knowing each other before we actually got down and did things together. And I said, it's my last one, I'm gonna be done. Because it's late, and I was pooped when I got on here, but I was like, girl, let me get on, do my little thing. Let me drink a ginger ale, and girl, I can have a little bit of energy to talk to the kids about this. And so anyway, so this guy ended up, he was single. We had discussions, and, he's like, what do you, just, things that related to him and I both. And we ended up, that was it, right? We ended up, we maintained our friendship, but that's where it was at. This man ended up getting married. And when I first met this man, y'all, and this is a little, personal, but I'm going to share this with y'all because, of course, we're having a discussion. So we're going to be honest here. We were having a discussion about something, and this man said, we had our encounter together, and he said, I don't feel comfortable doing this experience with a person like you without protection. And I was like, well, when it comes to, just the mouth to that, I'm like, okay, whatever. When it comes to, of course, the intercourse part, oh, baby, it got to be protection regardless of the fact. But it was giving me in this moment, y'all, that he is confiding in a gay man. And we could talk about me being spiritually in tune, me just knowing things, but I was like, a gay man told him this. And so, y'all, all these years, I knew this, right? I'm like, a gay man told this fucker that you got to be careful with these trainings because they nasty and they fuck on everything. They suck on everything. And y'all, I can see this conversation we'd have, but I was like, maybe it's just a part of my imagination. Because I can tell y'all, like, I have a big imagination, girl, as a kid. And of course, that's something spiritual. But for layman's term, I had a big imagination. So, a lot of my stuff came through me through that because I can see things from a 360 world where everybody else say from a 180 or 90 degree angle, which we're not going to get into that because that's true tea. And so either way, 8 years go by, and he asked me just last year, would you ever move back to Northern California? And would you, be close to me? And I was like, why? And he said, because, my wife loves you and I love you. And we've been knowing each other for such a long time and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so why can't y'all relocate down here? And, and he said, what he said, she has a good job, blah, 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 whatever. To make a long story short, he sends me a video, and he thought he sent a video of himself. Mind you, he's married, but they're in an open relationship, and his wife is aware of me being, trans, and just so happened that him and I had an experience together. And maybe the wife knows about him and this gay guy as well, but he never told me about a gay guy, y'all, prior to this. Okay, I just want to say that. This was a shocker for me. But I knew what I knew, and I'm always on what I say I'm on. And so he literally sent me the video of him having sexual fun with a gay man. And of course, my response when I saw the video, and I text back and said, thanks for the video. And he said, oh my God, I didn't mean to send that video. Oh no, it was Spirit that made you send the video. But is this the fucker who told you not to have a sexual, mind y'all, he was having sexual fun with this gay guy without a condom. I want to point that out too, without a condom. I said, is this the fucker who told you not to have fun with a trans person? And he was like, wait, what are you talking about? Yeah, like I said, is this the fucker that told you not to have sexual fun with a transgender or be careful because blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, we had a discussion somewhat along that, but why are you bringing it up? And like, how did you know about all this? Well, when you told me this years ago, it made sense to me that you would only have this type of knowledge based on your own personal dialogue. This is not you feeling that you're assuming this. This is what he told you. And based on what he's telling you, once again, I'm comparing this. I'm telling you the story to compare this with the Dear Whisperer. These people like this, they'll go for the men that are trans attracted on purpose. And that's why Dear Whisperers say that transgender women or transgender men who identify as women are the same as DL men, because he intentionally go after them because he knows the trainees are going to be the first ones to get those type of men. But on top of that, I'm sure he's confided in these so-called DL men to tell them stories about these transgender women and why a lot of transgender women going into the safety, then why their safety has been compromised. Your safety in America is not being compromised, trans women, because these men don't like it and want to get rid of the evidence. Your safety has been compromised because they consult and converse with a gay man, and a gay man tells them their opinion about, well, that's still a man. You got to be careful because you have a higher chance of getting this by a man, blah, 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 blah. And that's what be going on. And so they feel like they have to come for you because their gay friend, like the Dear Whisperer, is confiding in them and telling them stories, and you got to watch them. While on the mean side, they're the ones that's getting dicked down unprotectedly by everybody. On the meanwhile, they're the ones over here taking dick in the club bathrooms, getting sucked at the BART train and on the trains and the Mooney and the E this and the E that and bus lines and shit, the metro and all that. They're the ones doing it, girl. They got videos out there, girl. You look at the videos up. You're not gonna see training videos like that or trainees getting dick down in the malls and shit. You're gonna see other men. So I'm saying all that to say that that's what's going on. But they're gonna use Dear Whisperer and people like that because they're a part of the LGBT, and that's insight. That's intel on the trans community. And so they're comparing and contrasting notes. Well, I learned the secrets of the girls because of blah, blah, blah. And now they're sitting here confiding and telling them everything. This is what they do. They tuck, they this, they that. And that's what they can make it look like they got real pussy lips and stuff. Like, girl. And that's why I need to stop telling these people your shit too. If they're not a part of the trans experience, stop giving them your secrets. If they're not a part of the trans experience, stop giving them your secrets. Same thing with these men. Stop telling these men shit, honey. Feel like you don't know nobody in the community. Have you ever heard of DeMarco? No, I don't. Do you know who Laquan is? No, I don't. You go to gay bars? No, I don't. You don't hang out like? No, I don't. I don't know other gays and other trans. I don't fuck with them like that. Stop running down your shit. Because they're coming together and they're having conversations. And that's really what it is too. See, the trannies ain't really telling the business. A transgender ain't gonna sit here and tell you the story about them being dicked down by a celebrity. They're not, I mean, you have some, we call them the brick houses. They gonna do it. The ones that did it for free, they gonna run it down on you. The premium girls, the high girls, the high castle, we're not going to tell you those stories about no men. Because, bitch, we got paid for the experience. And some of us, we like spending time when they come and see us in town. We love having that one-on-one time with them because we see them beyond their celebrity status. We see them as a person who needs affection and love too. So you got somebody like Dear Whisperer who's a great asset because, of course, he has the tranny stuff. And he has the men who like the tranny stuff. So they're going to be kissing his motherfucking ass because they want things to come. But they're going to gag when they find out that he don't got the shit. They're gonna gag when they find out exactly, because say he's barking up these trees and it's gonna come out. Whether it's by the men that he's so-called exposed or the people he had conversation with about these men, it's gonna come out that old boy was trying to solicit these men of fucking with him, or old boy was trying to entice something. It wasn't like, girl, they sought after him. That they were like, hey, he looked like a cute bottom. Let me hit him up. Or he looked like a hung top. I want to experiment. Like, girl, realistically, y'all. And there's no shade, honey. Like I said, I don't know the deal with her like that. But, I'm just saying, girl, he represents, just like some of y'all hate trans because of, T.S. Madison and, people like that. But, and the Caitlyn Jenners and Flaming Rose shit who are not even, trans women. But anyway, that's not my business. But y'all really think that there's no pretty trainees out there? There's not enough of them? Or even like feminine gay boys. Like, there's a lot of pretty feminine gay boys out there. You think that they're really, out of all these pretty feminine ones, that they'll be hitting up the Dale Whisper? Y'all really think that? Like, that's a real serious question. Y'all really think that? Girl, like I said before, and, I want to correct it too, because people going to think because I said that he's ugly and he looked like a roach because he's dark skinned. That's not why I said that, girl. They really look like a roach. I don't think Ray J looked like a roach. He's dark skinned. Girl, we can go down the list of the people that's dark skinned I don't think look like a roach. Girl, I did not call him a roach because he was dark skinned, girl. I called him a roach because he looked like a fucking roach. That's why I called him. And like I said, him and Tasha K look like they could be related. And there's some cut in on that. They both look like they could be motherfucking related. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come out of him and Tasha K are related. I wouldn't be surprised at that. That wouldn't shock me. That wouldn't shock me at all. What's that girl that played what's that girl that played on Wicked? Cynthia. I don't think Cynthia looked like a roach neither. I don't think Coco Jones looked like a roach neither. Girl, we can go down a list of girl, Amara La Negra. I don't think she looked like a roach. Like, there's a lot of dark-skinned people I go down the list. I don't think Whoopi Goldberg looked like a roach. I don't think Oprah, it's Oprah dark-skinned, I don't know. Girl, excuse me? Girl, I don't think Lettucey looked like a roach. Like, girl, Doechii. I don't think Doechii looked like a roach. Can we talk about it? You compare and contrast Naquan with all the people I mentioned, and you don't tell me that motherfucker look like no fucking roach, girl. And he looks like he pester you. He looked like he will bug the fuck out of you. Baby, are you coming over? No. Are you sure? And that's the other thing, too, that these people be going through and they be having problems with, too, the LGBT community, which y'all have to get over. And I saw I'm going to be done. When a man ghosts you, let him ghost you. When a man do one thing with you and I think that's a lot of children's, LGBT pet peeves. I'm just like, y'all got to get over it, girl. Especially when you deal with a man who clearly is not open about being trans attracted, who clearly never introduced you to his parents. When they ghost you, let them ghost you. That really be like boiling these kids' blood, girl, when they be exposing men for that. And I really do feel, all alleged or proven otherwise, is that's what goes on. I think that people got ghosted. People felt some type of way after ghosting. And now I'm going on a full rampage and I'm going to be exposing. And like I said, I think that T.S. Madison was brought up in the discussion. And of course, this person is aware that T.S. Madison had a problem with Tasha K. And what better person to go have an interview with about a person that you both mutually hate? And that's what I'm saying too. We calls be teaming up together when they hate somebody. I know a lot of people that hate the people I hate, and I'm not teaming up with them. I would never get in their DM and say, hey girl, you want to come and talk on my show? What matter of fact, two of my enemies that tried to fuck with me in the past, people who know them, who don't like them, who have killed them, have hit me up in the past for us to do videos and stuff together. And I chose not to do that because I don't need to link up with other hoes that hate hoes I don't like. I don't like them, baby. I don't need you to help me not like them. You don't have to like, or girl, if you do like them, that's your business. I don't like them. I don't need to team up with other hating assholes to take a bitch down. The fuck? And that should be irritating the hell out of me. 2 weak hoes, 2 weak roaches coming together trying to take down. And y'all know I don't really give a fuck for a T.S. Madison like that neither. Respectfully. And there's not even a shade or cut in on that. T.S. Madison came for Wendy Williams and read Wendy Williams down. And you know how I feel about that girl. That's somebody's mama. And girl, without Wendy, girl, you wouldn't be able to have the show that you motherfucking had, bitch. And you come for Wendy, oral thrall, this and that, trash bag. And it's just like, girl, but what would you be shaped like without that silicone? Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. That's past T, girl. I don't personally care for that person in that sense. But definitely as an experience, you know, you cannot take away that person's accolades. Just like I don't care for Cardi B. You can't take away her accolades, though. I really don't think she can rap. I can't take that away from her that she, you know, is performing. She has a tour going on. I'm not going to take that away from the bitch. Okay? But I don't have to like her. Can we talk about it? Same thing with Miss Thing, honey. I don't got to like her, but what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. And honey, if Tasha K was so big and so strong like she claims she is, and she's so powerful, then she wouldn't have to team up with somebody like Jill Whisper. Girl, you might want to be careful because that motherfucker might try to take your man. Allegedly, girl. You know what they say, girl. You know what the streets are saying. Girl, Miss Thing might try to take her man. See, that's what I said, girl. Listen, I can't trust no hoe that openly exposes man, whether they're gay, straight, black, or white. You expose a man openly, girl, I ain't gonna have you nowhere around my man. And you sure the fuck ain't gonna be in my personal life because, baby, I don't need to be seen with you. I don't need nobody to say, you know her, huh? I saw y'all together. Yeah, you gotta expose the people too. As a storyline. There was a girl back in the day, and I promise I'm done. There was a girl back in the day that we used to be cool. And so there was somebody in the industry that was like, I want y'all to come out and blah, blah, blah. So just so happened, y'all, and I'm glad I didn't go to because during this time, I think 2 content creators was like taken off this planet. I think one allegedly was a self-inflicted wound or something in this hotel, and the other one was like at a party, after party. So we were gonna go, and the guy was like, you know, I'll let you guys, you know, have fun or whatever, you know, and it'll be on us, and you come and stay at our house, and you don't got to worry about no hotels. And I'm like, okay, this is cute. And so what ended up happening was, and I didn't even know about this, y'all. This before I even knew that this bitch was this messy. I guess this bitch reached out to one of these people and was trying to blackmail them before. And they remember because she was in this state. And she was a whore living in a hotel during this time. And so he, you know, I guess he was vetting us and shit. He's like, has your friend ever went by another name? And I was like, maybe her biological name. He's like, no. Has she ever went by another name? And I was like, I don't know. I think so. And he's like, well, ask her, does she know somebody named Blank Blank? And I was like, I know him, and he's like, you know him, and I was like, not like that though, but I know him, I know his music and stuff. And he's like, okay, well, ask her. And so I asked her, and she's like giving the rundown, y'all. And the crazy thing about it is, girl, Mom was giving me the rundown because she wanted to make it seem like, girl, I had him first. So, you know, and like I said, I'm not into this man. I'm not into a particular type of man. I don't care how much money you got. Hello. If we're not compatible, we're not compatible, babe. And so she's giving a rundown on this man and how he was supposed to be coming to her hotel and he flaked on her. And so she basically told him that she ain't going to expose it after the fact if he can bring her this amount of money. And he did, of course. And of course, she didn't exploit him because that would have been illegal. But I was like, okay, girl. And I said, so just so you know, the man who's supposed to be hosting us does not want us to go now, or he doesn't want us to go together. And of course, this made her a little bit upset, y'all. But I was sitting there thinking when I was having a discussion with this man, and he's like, you might want to not fuck with her because she's going to end up getting you hurt. And I was like, I don't think so. But looking back at it, y'all, and me knowing that that is true. Like when people see you with certain people, they hear about it. And that's why a lot of people who don't like you will try to act like they're cool with you so people can see you with them. So that way, when y'all have a falling out, they can come out like they know everything about you. Oh, I know everything about this girl. This girl told me everything. No, the fuck I didn't, girl. Girl, no, the fuck I didn't, girl. Some things I will take with me to the grave. I did not tell you every fucking thing, girl. If you never got the chance to meet my motherfucking mama and have a true breaking bread moment with her in person, girl, you don't know even 40% about me. Hello? So I was like, yeah, that is so weird that you gotta watch who you deal with because hoes be collecting data on you. And hoes will definitely make it look bad to where you try to connect with people. They're like, I don't want to fuck with you. And you're like, but why? What did I do? It's because you know that bitch. So anyway, y'all, I'm done. I said my piece. I'm sure I went over my time. How long I was going to be here. It is what it is. Honey, I saw there's one person here. Come on in here. Armed 12159. Hey, boo. I'm sorry I'm seeing you late. But I'm just saying what I'm saying. Y'all, listen. What happened earlier, the goddess have to step the fuck out. And she have to show the fuck up. She got to step the fuck out and she got to show the fuck up. And that's what we're going to do. And I'm actually going to change the title of this video too, because of course, people be thinking that people be having certain names to rage, you know, to pull people in. And I don't. I just wanted to address a comment that was being had about a group of people. And of course, sometimes people think that, well, maybe it's true. Maybe, you know, maybe these people don't really fuck with us. When I tell y'all that I really want people to win, when I tell y'all that I really want people to be the best that they possibly can be, when I tell y'all, when I deal with you, I don't see you as a man or woman, black, white, any of that. I see you as somebody who's needing assistance in something. And if I can provide it, I'm going to provide it. I feel like some people need much more help than just spiritual help. I think some people need a doctor. And of course, I think that with you, I would tell you. But that's pretty much it for me, y'all. I'm about to take my motherfucking ass to bed. And, you know, that's it, girl. Y'all be the judge. Y'all decide what y'all want to decide on. Now, like I said, I got to do what I got to do. Step up. You know, people, you know, girl, they want to bring the goddess out, so the goddess is going to come out, girl. Bitch, they used to the goddess being on camera all the fucking time for hours. Let's do it. They're used to having deep discussions about certain topics. Let's do it. Let's do it for the sake of irritating and making hoes highly upset again. Let's do it. And like I said, one thing about me, I don't get back, I get even. You think you're going to stop people from voicing their opinions around me and saying, hey, I don't want to be in there because blah, 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 blah. Oh, baby, it just started. The game's just started, babe. Wait and see what Madam Merkaba has for you all. And everything's about education. Everything's about elevating the spirit, bring you into the knowing, into the known. That's what it's about. And so anyway, that's it, honey. Have a good night, y'all. And shout out to you. I am Dee Dee. Oh, hey, Dee Dee. Did I say Ahmad? What did I say? Ahmad. Okay, I am Dee Dee. Okay, I'm looking at you on the right side up now, not flip side down or flipped around. Okay, good seeing you. I'm Dee Dee. Bye for now, y'all.